there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Ass Up and Move Fitness and Nutrition podcast. On this podcast, we discuss fitness, nutrition, overall health, and overall well being. We have another guest with us today. We have Mr. Erwin Rowe from Dappa East Central. Hey, Erwin.
Hello, how's it going? How's it going, everyone?
Good, good. It's such a pleasure having you today. Go ahead and tell us, where are you joining us from?
Okay, so hey everyone, I'm from Jamaica, right here in Kingston. Yeah.
Okay, so today's topic of discussion is, you guys, staying fit in college. Erwin, Mr. Dappa East Central, is actually a college student in Jamaica, so he can totally speak on this topic. I know when I was in college, staying fit was interesting. I know for a lot of people, staying fit while in college, can be interesting. And he's actually studying fitness and nutrition. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Erwin. I know you have a YouTube channel that you do great. I know you're a college student. I know you're studying nutrition. Tell us a little bit about more about you.
Okay, so initially I was born in St. Elizabeth, that's a parish in Jamaica, and that's where I spent most of my childhood days. I mean, after primary school, you have to graduate to go to high school. Then went to high school. It was an all-boys school, by the way. So I went there, and it was really and truly there my fitness journey started. Because as a child, I was a very fat child, I admit. And when I took up fitness, it was really and truly because while I was at primary school, I was overweight, as mentioned before, and
Okay.
I was experiencing a tummy ache.
Uh-huh.
And my mom came to the school and carried me to the doctor. And
So you were in school when you started feeling sick and having a tummy ache.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I remember it quite vividly. So while I was in the doctor's office, the doctor just did one thing. He pat me on the tummy. You got to get rid of this. You got to get rid of this. You've got to get rid of this.
And he was referring to the weight.
Weight entirely.
Wow. Wow. And so how old were you?
I was around 9 at the time.
Yeah. So would you say are you saying that's what motivated you to get into health and fitness? That experience at 9 years old?
Yes, that's one of the main reasons. Well, it's the start, actually. It's the start.
Mm. So what are some of the other things that motivated and inspired you to want to take it to the level where you're studying it in college?
Okay, so that started while I was at high school and I moved to another high school again to do sixth form. That's like grade 12.
Uh-huh.
And because I was in cadet as well, so that has some influence on it. And
The cadet, what is cadet?
okay, so cadet, it's more like a scout, but an integrated form of a
Got it.
scout, like
Mhm.
pre-military.
Right, got it. Okay, so people graduate from cadet and go into the military.
Right.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
So I took it a step further because I wanted to join the army. And
Well,
some hiccups right there because I'm saying, okay, a young guy wanting to join the army, how am I going to do this now? So while in sixth form at the other high school, I decided to join the track team.
okay.
I didn't really want to do the sport, just the training,
Right, got it.
or I have the agenda to get in the army. So there, fitness comes in. I started to read articles. I was speaking with one of the teachers from the high school. He actually studied physical therapy. While,
Okay.
so he introduced me to that profession. That's where I became really interested in it because the thing is, I'm not going to sit around a desk, and I always wanted to be physical. So
Right. And all this was in high school.
high school
Okay,
was
okay.
the age. That was when I was 18. All of those coming. And
Right, got it.
here it is. I'm going to do it now. And then I flunked sixth form. I
Oh,
wasn't really interested in the school because I've finished one of the exam from the other high school. So I'm saying it's rest time for me.
You were just so focused on being healthy and fit and going to the military, right?
That's right. That was
Oh,
the
right.
definitely. I didn't get a chance to go into the military at all. So I
Oh,
said, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and find some work and just try to build up myself. The fitness is still there, so I have it in my mind to own a gym this time.
okay.
That's
So we
what.
always have to have a backup plan, right? So going into the military didn't work. You had a backup plan, and that was to go into fitness and owning a gym at that point.
That's right.
Got it. Okay.
Because of that idea, it inspired me to make my own homemade gym at the time. Still 18. All right.
Wow.
Okay, I call it the Stonehead Gym.
Because I've seen your posts on YouTube where you're making all kinds of equipment out of whatever you have in your background. You're pretty creative.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Uh,
okay. So you did all of that, and then college came around.
right. The inspiration for college now. I wasn't planning to go to college
Okay.
at all. It was while I was working at a pharmacy where I noticed pharmacy students always comes in for their intern.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there speaking with them, and college life sounds very interesting. Very.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I can do this as well. So why not go to college? So in that day and age, I said to myself, okay, here it is. I'm gonna pay my enrollment fee. I'm gonna apply, and I'm gonna get there. There was college.
Good for you. Good for you. So we are a college student now. What year are you in college?
Well, I'm a third year student in college
A third year student in college. And so what exactly are you studying?
now. Okay, so I'm studying athletic training, and the name might be misleading to some because when I've mentioned it to others, they are thinking that I just train athletes.
Okay, right.
Not necessarily. I train physically active persons, and I also cater to the injuries that they sustain. Say, for instance, someone has an ankle injury, some muscle injury, and those stuff. I
Mm.
would be working under a physiotherapist to help to bring about rehabilitation and such, and also
Oh,
do preventative
so you're
measures.
getting a bachelor's degree in athletic training.
Right, in athletic training.
Okay, okay. So put that to the side just a little bit, the whole physical aspect of it, right? At some point, you were a first year college student. And I know for me and, a lot of the people that I went to college with, first year was pretty rough. It's hard to stay fit and healthy your first year in college. What was your experience? Did you find that it was hard? And tell us about that.
It was extremely hard. Very, very difficult. When I entered college, right, I was weighing 135 pounds. That's my weight because I'm not tall. I'm not tall.
Right, right, yeah.
So that was the height, the right weight for my height at
Of
the time.
course.
So I was there in college, first semester, first year. When I went back home and weighed myself after the first semester, and the semester begins from August to December. And
Okay.
when I went back home in December and went on that scale, and I saw 122 from 135.
Wow. So you actually lost weight your first semester in college. Now that's a little interesting, Erwin, because most American college students, even, a lot of us who leave Jamaica and come here, we gain weight. I didn't experience that, but most of my college colleagues, we gain weight. Why do you think it is you lost weight instead? And do you think that's common for Jamaican college students?
Okay, so let me tell you why I have lost that amount of weight. You see, upon entering university, financial difficulties will be there for
Hmm.
most persons in university in Jamaica. Right? So whenever you want to buy, well, whenever you have to buy what's healthy for you, it's always a no-no in the first semester. Reason being, you're new to all of this. You're in what I say, a culture shock because it's a different type of behavior from a country student into a town, right? So financial difficulties coming into play. you can't really buy what you're supposed to buy, so you settle for the cheaper alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
While
Mm-hmm.
for the cheaper alternatives, sometimes you do not have any money to buy anything at all. So you'd have to
Mm-hmm.
talk and resort to other means, which really and truly does not have all of the nutrients that you require. So,
Mm-hmm.
hence, and as I have mentioned before, I was 135, so it's muscle mass. I wasn't able to be that physical as I was
Mm-hmm.
while I was working and such. So I started to lose muscle mass, atrophy as they call it, loss
Yeah.
of muscle
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And that's where it just decline, and then the stress. How can I leave that out?
That's
Stress.
right. Stress that first year. Mm-hmm.
Then that's the main reason why most of us lose the weight in the first second.
Right. So I guess being Jamaican myself, and it seemed like because it's kind of the same thing here in the States, right? But Americans, we gain the weight. There is a lot of easy access to fast food and junk food in the US, and I think that probably play a role. So the type of cheap food that you're getting is probably not nutritious, but it's probably not as bad as it is here, and it's probably not as readily available. While you may go out and buy some stuff here or there, the fast food here is readily available and it is quite cheap in the US.
Okay. So big,
Hmm.
big difference.
Yeah, so it's it is quite interesting. So what advice would you have for a first year college student to try to prevent that from happening, either gaining weight or losing weight? Do you have any advice that you would give to a first year college student?
Okay, so in terms of, well, most people would want to lose weight. So let's go to the fat part of it.
Hmm.
So for the fat part, if they want to lose weight, then physical activity is a must, right? You cannot always enter the strenuous part of physical activity because that's where a lot of persons fall off. You're
Hmm.
coming into college, it's a new environment, responsibilities are not there like that, so you'll feel free to do everything. But by the end of the day, you have to understand that, listen, if you want to lose weight, that is the fat weight, you have to dedicate yourself to the physical activity as well as the nutrition as well. So
Hmm.
then you would have to look at the person's financial background again to see if they can afford particular foods and such.
Right.
With the fat part. Now, for the muscle part, you're going to need protein and such, right?
Hmm.
So for
Hmm.
it's really difficult for some to have a gym membership. So what they can do is to try and do some strength exercises using their body. I mean, you won't get the result that you're looking for as compared to heavier resistance, which is weights and those stuff.
Hmm.
You just have to use your body and to try to eat right, try to eat within your means. Instead of going to the street, try and go to the market.
Right. So instead of going to the regular grocery store, going to the market and get your fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Slightly different note. Do you find here in the US, fresh fruits and vegetables are very expensive? And easy access to fast food and stuff like that is cheaper, which is part of the why we have this epidemic of obesity and diabetes in our country. In Jamaica, are fresh fruits and vegetable expensive? Like if you go to the market?
Well, it's expensive now because you have different markets while here. In Kingston, I know of one, the Coronation Market, where you
Yeah.
actually at a cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
That it's affordable, it's within your means,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the vegetables and the starchy foods, ground provisions, that is. And yeah, well, as compared with the fruits now, it's a bit expensive because
Mm-hmm.
you're in the town side. It's not like you're in the country where you can have it, where persons actually grow it and have it
Mm-hmm.
on. So there is a difference in standard of living compared to those sections in Jamaica, to the countryside and to the town side. The town side is actually the city. That's how we refer to it in Jamaica. So
Right.
it depends on where you are, but for the ground provision, it's actually affordable. here in Kingston.
Right. Okay. And I would agree with that. Being to that market you're talking about, Coronation Market. I grew up not far from that place, and what it is people from the countryside bring all the fresh fruits and vegetables to the city because we don't have that easy access to it. And I just find it to be quite affordable, for the most part. Right. It's cheaper than going to Burger King or McDonald's. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was talking about in a podcast I did a few weeks ago. In Jamaica, going to McDonald's and Burger King and places, it's almost like a treat. I know when I was growing up, it's probably slightly different now, but it's easier and cheaper to go to like Coronation Market and grab you an apple, an orange, a banana, a bunch of callaloo or something like that. Would you say?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Way cheaper.
So let's talk about nutrition real quick. As a college student, nutrition, most of us don't. When I was in college, I didn't know what I know now. You are studying that, so you would know about nutrition. How would you, or how would you tell a college student who don't know much about nutrition? How would they get information about nutrition, or what's some recommendation you have for them?
Okay. So first and foremost, sometimes, well, in most areas that I've seen so far, whenever you tell a person about a diet, automatically they feel as if they have to throw away everything that they have.
Right.
Right? So that's really and truly the misconception first. The best thing that I'd suggest is to get familiar with the food groups.
Yes.
First thing, because application of knowledge is power. Get familiar with the various food groups. After,
Mm,
try your very best to apply that knowledge that you have. Because in a sense, there are many diets out there. There are many diet plans. And with this surplus information, you do not know what is correct. You do not know what is not correct. So
that's
what
true.
I recommend is, even if you're going into the supermarket to buy groceries and such, look at the nutritional facts. Get familiar with the nutritional facts. All right? And complement that with the knowledge that you have before and will be gaining from all this. Because the thing is with nutrition, you're always learning.
Mm-hmm.
You're always learning. So you have to be familiar with those stuff first before
Right.
jumping into a diet plan.
Right, right. And you're so right about that, Erwin. Diet, I try not to use that word because that confuses people so much. But really, our diet is what we eat. It's what we put in our mouth on a daily basis. I'm not on a diet, but I have a diet. You have a diet, right? It is what we eat on a regular basis. But I'm so glad you hit on that nutrition label, right? Because for the fruits and vegetables, when you get an orange, it's going to have vitamin C, a banana has potassium. But when this pre-packaged food, it's half of it is so bad for you, but for the most part we can trust the label, what's on the label, the nutrition label. And I think it's so important for people to at least pick it up. Just spend an extra 30 seconds to see what it is that you're putting in your body. Let's take a slightly different twist. What's your opinion on veganism? What is your opinion on that?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, had a discussion the other day in a class setting about that. So with vegan, I really do not see anything wrong with vegan because the thing is, we have it. Say for instance, someone think that, oh, vegan, that means they eat a lot of vegetables, no meat whatsoever, so they lack protein, right? Wrong. The thing is, we have plant-based protein, and
Hallelujah.
okay, so, but then again, we still have a problem, right? Because the animal protein has full protein, all amino acids, but the plant-based, it's not complete. It's incomplete, right? So is that a problem? No, it's not a problem again because you can mix both.
That's right.
They're complete, right? Because it's really, really and truly, it's a good way. It's a good way to go about with the vegan lifestyle because I really and truly don't see any problem with it. The thing is why people may find a problem with it is because they think that the meals that they're eating will be just one meal like that. You can
Mm.
always variety is the spice of life.
That's right. That is so true. And so, can you give us an example to incomplete protein that you can put together to make it complete that are plant based?
So you have lentils and you have, oh my gosh, the pronunciation. Quinoa.
Quinoa. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Always
Yep.
have a pronouncing that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
entails, right? And you can have some chickpeas right there on the side, and you're good
That's
to go.
right. That is so true. I mean, and it's simple as rice and peas. I mean, maybe not the white rice, but brown rice, which has a little bit of protein. You can mix some black beans and some brown rice, and those are two plant-based protein that you put together and make them complete. Or mix your quinoa, like you say, with your lentil or something like that to make it complete. So I'm totally, totally so proud of you as a college student. And not only are you doing the fitness portion of it, but you're doing the nutrition portion of it. And it's some really great information that you have. Good for you. Good for you.
I
So
mean,
what other advice that you would have just for anyone who's trying to make a change and go into fitness, not as a trainer, but advice that you would give just to the regular person who, what, I am 20 pounds overweight. Where do I start? What do I do?
okay, as mentioned before, information. You have to know what you're going into. So background information is ideal. And you have to find out what caused me to put on this unnecessary weight. Is it my habit? Definitely it's what I eat. But what is it I'm eating?
Mm-hmm.
Next, after you look into that now, you're gonna see, okay, what am I going to do to lose this additional weight?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see exercise, of course, because everywhere you're gonna see exercise.
Right.
What type of exercise should I do to get this weight off? So that's where you're going to venture off into. Because the
Mhm.
thing is with fitness as well, because I have to bring fitness into it. A lot of persons believe that fitness is only physical fitness. That's where you exercise and that's it. That's not the case because you have components of fitness that brings about this. And also with the components of fitness, you have areas that are linked to fitness, like for example, well, not for example, you have exercise. That's one, correct exercise, adequate rest, and the correct nutrition. And I've made mention of the components of fitness. You have muscular strength, you have muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance, so many of them right there.
That's right.
So it's not linked to one particular area.
Mhm.
Right?
So it sounds like you're saying just educate yourself about yourself. Like you have to know you. You don't want to just jump and go into some kind of nutrition program or fitness exercise program without finding out what are the causes. What is it that I did that I can get rid of? What am I eating that I can eliminate? Or what are the foods that I need to eat that I can, start losing the weight? What's your opinion on supplementation? We're down to our last couple of questions here.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and a lot of persons wouldn't know this, but supplementation actually has to be recommended by a doctor. That's the first thing because people think that
Right.
I can just take this and we do not really need supplements because if we're eating a balanced diet, we already have it, right?
That's
But
right.
say, for instance, you're working harder and you do not have the time to get most of those nutrients that are in a balanced diet,
Mm,
then go ahead and do supplementation. And it's very important to look on these supplements because you want to know what type of micronutrients because that's the
that's
micro
right.
what type of micronutrients we're looking
Mm,
for, what type of vitamins and minerals we need with regards to what we think we are missing, right? Because most persons are, well, some persons, I won't say most, some persons are familiar with the different type of macronutrients and micronutrients.
mhm.
Persons that want to keep it simple like that, like the average person, we need to know about the carbohydrates, the protein,
Mhm. Protein, and the fats.
right?
Mhm.
That's one side. Supplements now. We're looking at the micro part of the supplement aspect. Multivitamins. Multivitamins helps with energy and so forth,
Yeah.
right? So really and truly, it's what you're looking for with supplements.
Mhm.
That, that, that
Again, it's knowing your body,
right.
right? Because most people who eat meat, you don't need to take a protein supplement. If you eat chicken and beef and things, you don't need to take a supplement. And if you eat red meat, you may not need a vitamin B supplement or something like that. or something. It's really just knowing yourself, knowing your body. Going to a doctor or a physician that's gonna do some blood work, right, and tell you, oh, you're low in vitamin D. But that doesn't mean you have to go take vitamin D. Go outside and get the free sunshine.
Just like that. Exactly.
Right, right. So one last question, or two last questions for you. How has COVID-19 affected you as a college student, your overall health, your overall fitness, or has it at all?
COVID, well, that's a really funny one with the COVID situation because of COVID, I'm more productive now as a college student. Look into it because it's for us to go on online sessions. It's a very very tough task for most of us
Mhm.
because we're used to this type of education where it
Right.
is and so forth. Especially in my field where it has to be the practical aspect of it. In my
Mhm.
I should be face to face, but I'm restricted to face to face. So
Right.
with COVID, it actually allows me to think a lot more outside of the box. How can I get this done? Let's
Mhm.
and we have a lot of free time now, as we would say, free time. It's a discipline now. I actually learned more
You're right.
disciplinary measures with regards to this because at first, yes, I would have all the time if class wasn't in session. I could do whatever I want, but
Mhm.
in time flies fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is so amazing to hear you say that. I don't know if you listened to Sam's and I podcast last week. That was what he said too, right? And for me, I had some downtime, and that's when I focused on my YouTube channel, getting a little bit more information in my brain and just learning how to do things differently. So I'm so excited to hear that, as much as it's a little challenge, right? It's a little challenge, but it gets your brain to think like, how can I do this differently. So, what inspired you to create a YouTube channel? Because that's where we met. We've never laid eyes on each other. We met via YouTube, social media, the power of social media. What inspired you to create a YouTube channel?
I didn't have YouTube on my mind at all. It was while I was posting videos on my WhatsApp status that someone saw those videos and said, you know what, this is what's going on. I see you putting out content and I see good in your content. So I'm going to recommend this to you. Start a YouTube channel. As
Wow.
YouTube channel, that's going to take a lot of work. You have to video edit, you have to get everything on point, you have to get the content and the filming. But I said to myself, you know what? This guy, he knows what he's talking about. To myself, you know what? I'm going to try it out. I'm going to do it. And I love fitness. So I know I'm going to be genuine with it and the passion is there.
Mhm.
Try it. And the next day, I created a YouTube channel. And the other day, I created my first video because the thing is, I have some editing skills that I have back then
Yes,
because
you do.
my best friend's brother, he, he has this media place at the time. And my best friend said, okay, here what? You're going to come in and you're going to do something. All right. And that was a defining moment because I've always wanted to do things in media. So I just jumped onto that opportunity. And
Right.
now to 2020, that's where it pays off.
Good for you. Good. Well, I'm glad you're whoever recommended it, because otherwise we would not have met and we wouldn't have had the opportunity to have this conversation. I talk about the power of social media all the time, right? Social media get a bad rep. But for me and for people like us who put out, educational information that's going to help people with their fitness and their health and just their overall well-being, social media is a great place. Everyone that I have interviewed on this podcast, I have met on social media, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to do this collaboration with you. So tell us, in finishing up here, tell us where we can find you on social media, Mr. Dappa E Central.
Well, I have an Instagram page where it's not Dapper Essential, but I'll just tell it. It's big underscore shot 876.
Okay, so
And
that's Instagram.
that's Instagram. And on YouTube, it's Dappa, Dappa E Central.
Okay. So you guys go follow Dappa Essential on YouTube. Honestly, his YouTube channel has motivated a couple of the podcasts that I did. You're awesome. You're a young black man who will is gonna do great. You're gonna make your parents proud of you. I'm excited to have this conversation with you and to have met you. And I will link Dappa East Central information below. We're recording this for YouTube as well. So if you want to look at our beautiful faces while we have this conversation, we're doing this via Skype. So I know, right? Don't blush. We're doing this via Skype. So, this is our first go around. We'll see how this works. But thank you so much, Erwin, for taking the time out to have this conversation with me. Any last minute tips that you want to give to a college student out there?
Work together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So find you a partner, someone that you can go out for a walk with or a jog with, or someone that can give you some advice and some nutrition or something like that. That's a good one.
yes, that's required right now because most of us, it brings about isolation because we really can't be in physical contact with most persons. The thing is, we have to be 6 feet apart. So unity. We have a lot of WhatsApp groups out there. A lot of WhatsApp. The power of social media. We have a lot of WhatsApp groups. Okay,
Hmm.
groups have interaction. We have Zoom. Right now, I believe that this age that we're in the 21st century has the ability to connect a lot of us together because as
Yes.
social media allows us to make everything.
Hmm.
So work together.
Yep, work together. So once again, Erwin, thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you guys so much for tuning into this podcast. And for those of you who have subscribed to my channel, listen to my podcast, I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. But until next time, Mr. Dappa East Central and we are out.